Hello, in this video we're going to continue on and work with our enemy class, and the focus here is going to be on constructors. Now that we have all of our attributes here, what we'd like to do is edit this constructor such that we'll set up all of the variables with default values when an object of this class is created. So inside of my main program, what I'm going to do is create an object of the enemy class, and I want it to have individual values stored in each of these properties. So if I create multiple enemy objects, then each one of them can contain different values for each one of these properties. Now the constructor is a special function that is called the same thing as the class itself. So public class enemy, and notice here I've got this public enemy constructor. So inside of this, what I'm going to do is for each one of my properties up here, I'm going to set it to be some value, such that when this enemy is created, all of these different properties have some default values. Let's say that the attack strength is going to be 10 for a default enemy. The position X is going to be 0, and the position Y is going to be 0, so maybe the center of our world, and the name is going to be a no-name enemy. Okay, so for each one of my properties, I now have an established the value stored for it. Okay, so if I go into my main class, let's jump into this. Let's get rid of our hello world, and finally we can create an enemy. Let's call it E1, and I'd like to instantiate it. So right now E1 is a reference to a place in memory that will be able to hold an enemy, but right now E1 is not pointing to anything. So in order for it to actually create a new object, I need to say that E1 is equal to a new enemy, and now I've got a place in memory called E1, this variable, and it's referencing an object that stores all of these values. So it's got a hit point, an attack strength, a position X, a position Y, and a name. Okay. I could also create a second one. Let's call it E2. And I can abbreviate these two commands like I did here on lines 9 and 10 for enemy 1, or E1, and I could just do this all in one single command. So it's going to allocate the memory using my new command, and then it's going to make E2 refer or point to that space in memory that was just created. Now let's print these out. So I could say something like console write line E1. And let's do that again with E2. And let's see what goes to the screen. All right, so let's run this. And you'll see that when I display this to the screen, I have CSE 1301_8.enemy. So it's actually printing out the type of thing that E1 and E2 are. So in order to do a little bit more than that, I'm going to have to define a new method inside of this, and that'll be the purpose of the next tutorial.